Final week of qualifying has been and gone there, and to be honest with you, I was going to go through this video like pretending that, almost keeping it a secret of whether or not I did or didn't make it, but I thought that's a pretty stupid thing to do. I'll just straight up tell you, I've made it. I've qualified for the second major of the year, the Foot Champions Spring Cup, I think it's officially called. I believe people are saying it's going to be in Amsterdam, and then I've heard other people saying it's going to be in Manchester, so not sure. I am sure what to make of it. If it's in Amsterdam, laughing, could stay there for another few days, make a little trip of it. If it's in Manchester, I've had a bit of a nightmare, haven't I? Because what I always think is, with these events, when you do qualify for these major events with a year, part of the prize of qualifying is obviously making a free trip for yourself, getting effectively a free holiday. Cause, I mean, everything's paid for, like food, hotel, transport, you know, everything. Like like I said, it is just a free trip. So if it's Manchester, I don't think it'll quite have the same how should I put it, the same ring to it, getting a free trip or free train and hotel to Manchester, which is less than, well, it's about 110 miles from where I live in Middlesbrough. So on your screen, I think you saw at the start of the video, I did make a couple of changes going into this last weekend. I changed, what did I do? I think I went from inform Bale to normal Bale to put him on the right hand side, and that was so I could afford Team of the Year Kante. Now, I've been waiting for this guy for, I mean, if you watch my recap videos and that, how long have I been moaning about having the 86 wallet, and it was finally time to say goodbye. Last week, remember, for the fan 20 games, I did get to use the Prime right guard on loan for my final 20 games, and although it wasn't amazing, it was just so much different, so much better from using the 86 Hulk, because I think it really was starting to mentally affect me. I think every time I didn't trust him to make any tackles, didn't trust him to shoot, pass. I think I was making him a bit of a scapegoat, really. But yeah, he's gone, and I've got Team of the Year Kante, and this guy is without doubt, well, I'm basing this after one weekend, the best CDM on the game. Even better than Vieira. I think he's like Vieira, but he's better. If you actually look, he's better at every single stat, apart from being massive. Like, I think his strength, maybe heading, but I mean, actually, I think Kante's heading might even be higher. But yeah, he has made a massive difference to me, and it was a change that I needed to make going into this final, what could be really my final competitive weekend of the year until FIFA 19 at least. I'd been playing a few friendlies with other pros, and they'd been using them against me, and I was just dying to get rid of that 86 Hullis, but I'm hopefully never going to have to mention him ever again. But yeah, I mean, the sacrifice I had to make, I told you, didn't I? I had to get rid of the inform Bale, drop down to the not inform Bale, just the normal one, but it worked pretty well. I think he's pretty perfect in the 4-2-2-2 for left attacking mid. I mean, even the inform Bale, I was always subbing him because his stamina's a bit rubbish, isn't it? So I was always bringing on the inform Son in around the 60th minute, so it didn't make that much of a difference. I mean, I didn't notice it anyway. I mean, the not inform Bale worked pretty well. Yeah, this week I stuck with the 4-2-2-2. I think the first weekend of the month. What did I use? And the second weekend I used 4-3-1-2. What did I use in that setting? Can't remember anyway. I mean, this month kind of flew by. Last week, obviously, though, I used the 4-2-2-2. Didn't I? I was 39 and all going into my final game, and I got slapped 3-0. Probably deserved to win, or at least deserved to be leading early in the game. Hit the post a couple of times from a couple of one-on-ones, and he scores his only shots. So yeah, 39-1. I thought it was a bit silly to try and change anything, so I stuck with the same formation, same tactics. If you want to know what tactics I'm using, I do have a custom tactics video on my channel that I posted a couple of months ago. Yeah, same instructions as always. I think I showed you at the start of the video. Getting behind the strikers, stay back while attacking on CDMs, and everything else on default. I've always stuck to that, having that throughout the year. I think it's better to, I think your team gets a more natural and balanced feel if you leave the tactics and formation as close to default as possible. So most of the tactics as close to 50 as possible, within reason obviously, and most of the instructions as possible just left on default. Another team change I did for this week was obviously, well, not obviously, this week, I think it's for like 2-week period, they're doing the Player of the Month Aguero. I think he's 94, maybe 95 rated. And looking at his stats, I thought he's definitely worth a try. So I did give him a go. It's a bit strange actually, because I mean, all these prime icons, the loans are about 10-15k. I think this loan Aguero actually cost me about 45k, and I wasn't that keen on doing it. I don't think I'm into the games where I started using him just yet, but I mean, he's pretty solid. A little bit slow, the sprint speed's not the best, but believe me, if he gets in front of the goal, he is not missing. I think I started off playing him up front, ended up playing him right attacking mid instead of Hazard. So I think that was the other weak link in my team really. The 91 Hazard, he's been a faithful servant for us over the months, but when you're trying to compete for a 40 and 40, when you're trying to compete at the very top level, he's not quite the sort of player that you want. Although, like I said, he has done a pretty good job for me. Now, I think I'm about this stage. I think I'm about 25-0 at this point, and this guy was actually pretty decent. He didn't have the best of teams. He had the typical, you know, Alessandrini, Bakayoko, people like that. But he was a pretty decent player, and he makes it 2-2. And I think this is the period of the game. If you concede an equaliser from the 30th minute onwards, you do start to get worried. But I get very lucky. He makes an error with his keeper, and when your luck's in, your luck is in, isn't it? Because I mean, that was just not a pretty goal. But I mean, in a weekend as important as this, you'll take anything that comes your way. Now this, I believe, is, yes it is, this is the game where the shit starts to hit the fan. I mean, you'd think from watching that there, wouldn't you? You'd think this guy is not very good, but he was pretty decent. At least I thought he was pretty decent anyway. As usual, as seems to be a common theme from what I say when I do struggle, the delay was not the best. And I mean, stuff like this, right? Look, I don't show replay because I'll just make the video go on forever. Like, why does De Gea there not just save it? It's a comfortable catch right there, but he jumps like he's got no hands. But yeah, 102nd minute, 103rd minute, Mane makes it 3-2, and I do try and hold out. I should really have switched formation, went to 4-3-1, just started time wasting, but no, I managed to instead give away a 117th minute penalty. And you can probably see where this one's going, can't you? He's going to bury this. Can't remember where he went. Where does he go? He goes to the bottom right, and of course that takes us into penalties. And it wouldn't take a genius to work out what's going to happen here. I was trying to, I've had my tactic lately of aiming one way, you know, because the player slightly turns his head, doesn't he, to whichever way he's going to aim the penalty, whichever way he's going to shoot the penalty, and then you can try and like double bluff them like there. You can see like Lozano moved his head left, but he actually went right. Got a very lucky save there actually. He actually dived right and hit his foot, but then I go down the middle and Kante misses. I mean, I was bigging up Kante, wasn't I, saying how much he's came in and changed the game for me, and he misses the decisive penalty. And yeah, that was at 29-0, so I went to 29-1 and needed to win my final 10 games. If I got 38, I 100% would not have made it. I started to realise that as time went on over the weekend. What was I on before this weekend? I was on, what was I on? I was on 6 losses. Yeah, I was on 6 losses before this weekend, wasn't I? And I said a 40 would guarantee it, a 39 would 95% guarantee it, a 38 would be 50-50. But what I did was I played 10 hour games on Friday, then I didn't play any more until quite late on Sunday. I took a bit of a, what should I put it? Took a bit of a negative tactic, try to get as easy as opponents as possible. But it ended up working well for me, so no complaints. But yeah, I mean, with 10 games to go, I'd kind of already sacrificed skill ratings. So yeah, I mean, when I lost that game, I was like, oh dear, I really am in a bit of trouble here, because if I do lose from here, if I lose another game, I mean, even with dropout, I mean, realistically, it's not going to be the top 64. It's going to be the top 66 because of Sackle and Megabit. And then it's going to be, then there's always dropouts, there's always people who've got travel issues, you know, etc, etc. And I'd probably end up in the top 70. But yeah, I mean, I was going to be in a bit of a difficult position. But actually, I think this is it. This is the final game. I mean, I've already told you, haven't I, that I have made the tournament, I have qualified. But this was our final game. This was the 39th game. Once I made it 5-2, I knew it was pretty much GG and my place had been confirmed. So this is what it looked like, 39-40 as you can see there, and 8 hours before the end, I think I finished my games around midnight, I was in 40th place with a 153 with relatively poor skill rating. At first I thought I was safe, but as the night went on I did start to get a little bit nervous, but in the end I did make it. Anyway guys, that is the end of the video. If you've enjoyed it, please drop a like and subscribe. Turn notifications on. I will be doing a vlog while I'm in Manchester, as well as a few other bits and pieces, rewards, and maybe a video showing my team that I'm going to use. But until then, I'll see you all in a few days' time.